Marie from Pear Tree Paper Crafts. Welcome back to my channel. I'm back today with a 12x12 process video for you for Cut to You, and so this video does class as an advertisement. So today I am using the You Are Pretty Amazing cut file. This is one of the new release cut files, and I just wanted to show you there how I get my cut files off the cut mat when they're a bit fiddly, and I use that pointy tool there. It's a Cricut tool. And I just use it to poke it underneath the edges of the cut file, and I just peel it off really gently. It does take a bit of time, but it's worth it. Since there were a lot of letters this time, I decided to back my cut file by tracing round the insides of the letters from the bits that were left over from the cut file. Just trace around them with a pencil and then cut them out. I don't always do it this way, but I decided to do it this way this time. And then just adhere them to the back of the letters by running my fine liner glue around and placing that letter on. When I draw around them, I always give myself a little bit of extra space just to make sure that there's an overlap and a place for the glue to stick to. But this went quite quickly this time. There we go, there's my cut file. And then I am just going to turn those two little hearts into two mini shaker pockets by just sticking a small amount of acetate on the back of them and cutting round it. I do always smudge the glue with my finger before I stick acetate down to prevent the glue from kind of spreading and making a mess on the acetate. So I just cut that out really carefully with my little scissors there. It does take me quite a while to do, just because I'm trying to be really careful not to accidentally rip the cut file or anything, so I'm just being really careful. And my acetate's quite thick. I think I might need to invest in some slightly thinner acetate that might make this little part of the job a little bit easier. But there we go. And then I take some of this adhesive foam, cut some tiny little strips off, and then I just trace around the edge of those hearts with it to make a space to fit the sequins in, should I say. And I find that a really quick and easy way to make a shaker pocket, and just make sure that everything's joined up. And then all I'm going to do is tip some sequins in. Off camera as well, I have put lots of adhesive foam on the back of my cut file ready to stick that onto my layout later. I just didn't think you needed to watch all of that because it is literally just me cutting up bits of foam. So I've absolutely filled those hearts with sequins in a blue colour that matches the blue that I've used on my cut file there. Just running around the edge there with some glue. And then in order to be able to move this around easily and not end up in a mess, I just use a piece of vellum, an off-cut of vellum, to back my shaker pockets to hold the sequins in while I decide what I'm doing. So I'm going to back this onto some wood grain paper. I've seen quite a few layouts floating around recently using wood grain, and I've got a lovely stash of wood grain, so I decided to use some of mine up. Just trying to decide which one to use, whether I want a lighter or a darker, and I do go for that slightly lighter toned one there. And then I start pulling out papers from the Cocoa Vanilla Studios Happiness collection. I have got the new Unforgettable collection, but I've had it taken off me. It's gone away for Christmas. So I'm using what I've got of my Happiness collection, which I love anyway, so I'm happy to use this up. So I'm just taking a small piece of white cardstock there to back my photograph on. I felt, because the photo is a very similar colour to the backing paper, that it was disappearing slightly, and you'll see in a moment when you see the photograph on the white, it just suddenly pops from the background and it just looks so much better. I'll take a little bit of that heart paper just on the left hand side of the photo. Again, just double-sided sticky tape. And then I'm going to use some of that beautiful blue that I've already backed the cut file in on the back of the photograph as well. So I'm just chopping that down with my trimmer, which is just off to the left. I'm just measuring it before I stick it down. Again, double-sided sticky tape and popping it on the back. I never mat things, other than when I mat them onto white to start with. I don't mat things straight. I do tend to mat things off centre slightly. I just think it adds a little bit more interest. And I do wonder about adding a little bit more paper around the bottom there, and I decide not to. I'm just going to tuck it in there. And then I do think, because I've used a little bit of that heart paper down the side of the photograph, I want to put a little bit more of it on the page. So I make a little tear at the top, roll the bits, the edges down. Thankfully the back of this piece of paper is also brown in colour, and I just take a small amount of that. I've got a little offcut from a previous sheet that I've used, and I just pop that underneath, and then I do the same at the bottom. I love little bits of paper that kind of peek through just like that. Now I have cut this cut file 10 inches across. I've done it nice and big. I wanted it to be the focal point of the layout, and I wanted that photograph popping out from behind. I was going to go for a very blue theme. I have a boy. I do a lot of blue layouts, but then I decide actually this Cocoa Vanilla range is so pretty, and the flowers I've got left are all pinks, mainly just pinks that I've got left. So I decide that no, I'm going to be brave and I'm going to put pink on it. I'm just going to put florals all over because it just sets it off beautifully off that wood grain. And just tuck in some more flowers and some bits and pieces that I've got left over from the ephemera. I have used a lot of this already. I do like those little green fronds. And I do find a floral element there. These are the die cuts. I do find a floral element that has got a blue flower on it as well. So I'm really pleased that I've managed to find a couple of those. So then I do just have a really good look through all my ephemera, and I managed to find one more flower to finish off that bottom part. And then I fussy cut some butterflies from the collection. I ummed and ahed for a while about what colour butterflies to include, and I decided in the end to use the yellowy ones. So what I do for butterflies is I put 4 little adhesive foam pads on them, and then I put a line of glue down the middle. Now I don't stick the foam pads down straight away. I start by folding the butterflies in half and sticking them down in the middle. So that's what I've done there. So I'm just pressing the middle of the butterfly down with the glue. And then I go round when the glue's set and peel off the foam pads, and that enables it to remain 3D. And the foam pads kind of prop the wings up, but the body's stuck down, so it gives that lovely kind of realistic effect to those butterflies. And then the very last thing that I'm going to do on this layout is take some white acrylic paint, watered down, and I'm going to do some white splatters just to break up a little bit of that wood background. It's quite heavy. I do just get a piece of packaging just to cover up my photograph because I don't want to splatter my photograph. I did also adhere everything down. I stuck everything down off camera a little while ago. Thank you ever so much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Watch to the end for some close-ups, and be sure to head over to the Cut to You shop. I'll leave the link in the description box below to have a look at some of the beautiful new cut files that have been out this month, and some of the others in the shop. There's loads to choose from now. Bye for now.